Let us talk risk assessments. What we see in front of us now is a common risk assessment format. It shows an activity, it shows the hazards associated with that activity, it shows the potential harm, injury, damage, or loss that could result from that activity. It shows the control methods that can be used to prevent the harm or injury, and those are commonly guided by the hierarchy of controls. And then you can do a raw risk rating and a reviewed rate once these controls are in place. Now this particular one is for building 18 two-story terraced houses, but it could apply to anything. The problem with risk assessments is they typically used to take hours to do, but not anymore. We have good news. Zardocs Compliance software includes a risk assessment builder section that allows you to build this up very quickly. And I'm going to show you how we do that. When you receive your copy of the software, it includes a wide range of risk assessments that are preloaded. These are samples. You can use them, you can edit them, or you can delete them. You can also build your own from scratch, and that's where the builder section comes in. Now before we do that, I want to introduce you to the activity library. The activity library has a list of common activities. There are over 400 of them, and many will not apply to you, so we suggest when starting off, activate the bulk delete option and remove the ones that you'll never use in your business. Activities are sorted by group, and when looking at them you can view the contents to see what's included there, and you can change these right here as well to suit what you do. So let us go back to the assessments, and what we have are project risk assessments, and we have an assessment library. So the project assessment is specific to this particular project. It could be for your business, for your main safety management system, and you could have a range of different assessments to cover the different parts of your operation. There will be one for the office, one for the warehouse, one for the stores area, one for the kitchen area, and you can add in as many as you want to make sure they're specific to what you do. They could also apply to operating a specific piece of machinery or a certain task. So we can go into the assessment library, and as with activities, there is a bulk delete option to get rid of the noise, make your life a lot easier. Let us now create a new assessment. Some call it a project risk assessment, others call it baseline, JSA, TA, safe work method statement. It's up to you. You choose. In this case, we're going to choose a JSA, and that's just the title, then just helps with searching later. We can call this one installing a new filtration system. We'll categorize it as plumbing. And then we have the choice of either doing it all from scratch with nothing. And that's useful if you're copying the contents from an existing one to put onto the system, or you can use the assessment builder. And that's what we're going to do here. So the first thing you do is we now run through all these items, and these items are in the activity library. That's what we saw at the start of this demonstration in the different categories. And we're not doing any of those, but we are doing raw loading materials. We're going to mix a bit of mortar. We create a seclusion zone. We'll be using power tools. We're loading vehicles. You get the idea. So once you've selected those, we then preview all the ones we selected, yes. And this is now, we can now set the order. Now the order, it's an appearance thing. It's also a logical thing. These are now selected in category, but we want to think of it in a logical manner. So the first thing we want to do is now set the order that all these appear in our documents. So being a risk assessment, we're looking at the steps that are taken to do a job. So we need to really try and get the order right. You can change the order later, but it's a good idea to get the order as accurate as possible, as early as possible, to save yourself time. So we'll choose that as a first one. And if you're not sure, just bang it in the middle somewhere, because things like whether you're using a saw before the other one, we don't know. A trailer, we're doing that early. Power cables are towards the end. Because we realize we've selected masonry saw, we don't want that, so just delete that, get rid of it. And once done, we then sort our order and just check it. And if we're happy with that, we then create the risk assessment. So as quickly as that it's done, and we can now check the content. If we need to add a specific item, we can do that. We can now go back and import from the library, for example, that one. It will add it in. And now we can change the content, add to it. And if this is something we're going to be doing on a regular basis, we can now update it in the hazard library. And of course, if you want to see what it looks like, you can now hit the view in the library. So if we want to now slot it between that one and that one, that's 15, so we're going to put it as number 15.5, which means that once we've finished, it will go into that position. And on the subject of order, if you want to update your order, you can view it at any time. That's what it looks like. And you can change these up or down. We want to move that one down to there. And then we find this one here is completely out. So that should be in the beginning. Put that at number 3.3. And we then update the order. And that puts everything so it looks decent, it looks logical, and you can now add in other items to this later on by the same means. So we now have a risk assessment called installing a new filtration system. So now we go into our project and we want to now add one from the library. It is a JSA we're looking for. We select continue. We look for the word filtration, and there are a couple of options. We did the JSA version, that is that there, and that's now included with this particular project. Now a little hint here is that if you're going onto a project site, installing a new filtration system sounds generic, and the health and safety industry hates anything that's generic. So we put on an address there. We put in Northwood Dairies. Even though our project is Northwood Dairies, what we're going to print is going to show that. So now when we do come to print it, we can view it, we can edit it if we need to, we can preview the print, and we put in a date effective, a date review, because that's important as well. We can choose between color or grayscale. The version, if it's been updated, you change your version as well. And while there might appear to be gaps there now, they will get straightened out once you print that. And you see it's a JSA installing a new filtration system, Northwood Dairies. It's now specific to Northwood Dairies, and that's important. So now when we print that, it's all listed in that format with your activities clearly shown, date effective, date review, version, and then you can check it. Now a risk assessment has little value unless it's actually presented to the workforce, to the team that are going to be doing the job, so they understand what the risks are and what you're going to be doing about it. So we need a sign sheet. Now in this case there are no names added into that. We can now change that by adding the people who are going to be in this project. Now their names are there, they can sign it and their date with their position, and that you'll find in that personnel for project section. So as easy as that, your risk assessments are done, and you can now go back into that section and you can add more, and you can go into the library and change those. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.